Illegal Polish television in liquidation and Donald Tusk's strategic TV stations, TVN and Polsat, are holding a presidential debate on May the 12th. Other TV stations, including Poland's largest news station, Republika, have not been allowed to co-host the event. Not only that, but TVP reportedly does not intend to release the event's broadcast signal either. The National Broadcasting Council does not agree to such behaviour. There is no consent from the regulator of the Polish audiovisual media market for such lawlessness. This is an unacceptable violation of the law, both the right of citizens to have equal access to information and the right of journalists to report on important social events. I remind you that the Constitution and the press law clearly state this. The criminal behaviour of the public media is also condemned by the Association of Polish Journalists. This can only be justified in one way. Someone is simply very afraid that the viewers of these very television stations will not discover that there is TV Republika, and for them to not see it as a valuable, interesting and modern broadcaster. TV Republika does not intend to stand aside and demands participation in the May 12th debate. Our viewers have the right to do so. Republika! The idea is that we should co-participate, ask questions, set conditions together with others. Well, unless the conditions are set only by Mr. Trzaskowski, and those there broadcast what he tells them to. Well then, indeed, there is no place for us. If it is otherwise, then they should invite TV Republika. But I am afraid that this is a purely political project and has nothing to do with debate and freedom of speech. As if that wasn't enough, huge controversy among the electoral staff has been caused by the fact that Dorota Wysocka-Schnepp is to conduct the debate on behalf of the illegal TVP. This was supposed to be a chilling effect, unlawful spying and widespread fear. Doubts about Dorota Wysocka-Schnepp's job extend across the divisions of the vast majority of presidential candidates' staffs, who vehemently protested against the decision. You give a person who is the face of this propaganda, the face of the propaganda that is going on right now in Polish television, that is currently in liquidation. Ms. Schnepp is the face of the propaganda, and appointing her is also detrimental to television itself. It is ridiculing the debate itself because later everything that is said at the debate is undermined by the fact that this lady was conducting the debate. In 5 minutes, I am able to find 10 statements by Ms. Schnepp, editor, which indicates that she is extremely committed to one side of the political debate. However, the power of the forcibly taken over public media was deaf to this suggestion and has no intention of changing the presenter. It is the TV station that chooses the journalist who leads. There was even a spontaneous vote among staffers to dismiss the presenter. Representatives of as many as 8 candidates voted to remove Dorota Wysocka-Schnepp from the debate. TVP announced that they would make the final decision by 12 p.m. today. However, hours passed and there was no announcement. It is worth explaining why the figure of this particular TVP journalist is so controversial. Dorota Wysocka-Schnepp's husband is Ryszard Schnepp, currently Chargé d'Affaires of Poland in Italy, on the orders of Donald Tusk's government. In addition, the last time she co-hosted a debate during the elections to the European Parliament, she and Justyna Dobrosz-Oracz provoked an embarrassing situation when, at the end of the event, without prior notice to the participants, she asked a question in English, to which the only one to react was Primus Boris Budka, which smelled of a setup.
At the end of this debate, you can say your goodbye message in English. We give you a chance to impress your voters. Anybody?
Yes, of course.
Another time, editor Schnepp, as an admirer of freedom of speech, took a shine to the idea of blocking portal X in Poland. Should perhaps X also be blocked in Poland, for example, for the time of the election campaign, or is it beyond our capabilities? And on top of that, on this despicable portal that she wants to block, she shared a hateful post hours ago in a brutal way attacking some of the presidential candidates. 3 of the Law and Justice puppets staged to fight the task-focused Trzaskowski, sipping from their beaks before the debate. The masks dropped for these clowns. Yet the lack of independence of editor Wysocka-Schnepp be further evidenced by the Anti-Hyena of the Year award she received from the Association of Polish Journalists for her programme Dangerous Liaisons. Many of her programmes deserved the Hyena of the Year or even the Hyena of the Decade. I am not surprised that so many committees are protesting against the participation of this lady editor in any presidential debate. This is not the first time that the illegal TVP has become an anti-hero of recent debates. During the Super Express program, the illegal director of the Television Information Agency, Jego Sayo, was placed in the zone for election staffers in a manner that is incomprehensible to this day. Who paid Joanna Dunikowska for the debate in Końskie? Who paid, TVP or Rafał Trzaskowski's staff? Do you know or not? In addition, a notice of a possible crime by TVP in liquidation has been filed with the district prosecutor's office in Warsaw. This concerns the ill-fated debate in Końskie, when Rafał Trzaskowski's staff, with the help of the forcibly taken over public media, organised their own debate, which many believe was a violation of the election code. This will already be another moment of testing for the Bodnar prosecutor's office. Current practice, however, does not fill us with optimism. The brutal knife attack took place at around 10:30 a.m. on Tuesday. The immediate cause of the death was deep stab wounds in the area of the heart and liver. The attack caused shock across the country. It is difficult to find words to express sorrow for the incomprehensible tragedy that occurred today at the University Hospital in Krakow. My thoughts are with the nearest, friends and co-workers of the murdered doctor. I would like to thank all those who carried out and are carrying out aid in connection with this terrible event. I join in prayers for the repose of the soul of the deceased. The perpetrator of the attack turned out to be a 35-year-old prison officer, a former patient of the doctor, who was dissatisfied with the results of his treatment. Before committing the crime, the man allegedly demanded 20,000 zloty from the doctor for an alleged medical error. The assailant heard charges of murder and attempted bodily harm against the nurse. He is currently in custody. Adam Bodnar intervened in the case, exploiting the tragedy politically, accusing the previous leadership of the Ministry of Justice of insufficient vetting of candidates for service. As a result, we have decided today to appoint a team to analyse the rules of admission and verification of candidates for the prison service. In the prison service, officers must be perfectly prepared physically and psychologically. I have also made a decision on personnel changes. I will request Prime Minister Donald Tusk to dismiss Colonel Andrzej Pecka from the position of Director General of the Prison Service. This change is necessary to make a new beginning in the prison service's activities.
Dymisji szefa służby więziennej.
According to the opposition, this is a distraction from the real people responsible for the tragedy. I will just remind you that in the Donald Tusk government, the earlier one, there was Minister Swiankalski. When the death of one of the prisoners occurred, Minister Swiankalski resigned, so it would be best if Minister Bodnar resigned. Colonel Andrzej Pecka released a statement indicating that all procedures against the officer had been completed. The murderer had been on leave of absence since the 22nd of April. Earlier, he had successfully passed the medical examination that allowed him to return to duty. All actions taken by the management of the prison service at all levels, starting with the head of the unit, indicate the exercise of due diligence in ensuring safety for the public and responding to disturbing incidents. Because the director of the detention centre in Katowice had doubts about whether he should be allowed to perform his duties, he once again referred him for examination, which he was expected to do after his leave. But Donald Tusk has already pointed out the culprit. Yes, I have already made this decision. The head of the prison service has been dismissed. The blacksmith stole and the gypsy was hanged. In such situations, there is political responsibility if the procedures are badly organised, they are badly secured, badly written. Apart from this information that reaches us, it appears that there were indications that this man had mental problems, so they have to look for the blame at home today and not put it on somebody else. If the prison services regulations need to be improved, the Justice Ministry's leadership is responsible. This means that the horrific crime from Krakow politically incriminates Adam Bodnar and his deputies. None of them, however, admits responsibility.
More and more experts are indicating that an ill-balanced energy mix is behind the blackout in Spain. The main fundamental problem was that Spain's energy system at any given time was based practically 90% on renewable energy sources, meaning sources that are not controllable and cannot be programmed or turned off or reprogrammed in a given situation. The blackout led to a cascade effect. We had a situation in which a number of unprogrammed, unpredictable situations occurred in a matter of seconds, which ultimately led to a blackout. Blackout is the most serious scenario in the energy industry. It carries huge costs and paralyzes entire economies.
My w Polsce musimy bardzo uważać na to, jaki miks.
We in Poland have to be very careful about what kind of energy mix we create. If we rely too much on renewable energy, which is unstable energy according to the absurd principle that the more unstable energy, the better, then we can expect similar huge costs.
To możemy spodziewać się podobnych ogromnych kosztów.
Spain's reliance on renewable energy for its energy system created a domino effect, leading to emergency shutdowns on interconnectors. This should be an important lesson for representatives of the Polish political scene. By the time the conventional sources came into operation, it unfortunately took many hours, and this system was really hit hard. Meanwhile, Poland is moving away from coal. The ruling coalition's extinguishing of mines is being done not because they care about the country's energy security, but because they are more afraid of defending the Polish national interest than a winter without electricity. There should always be some kind of stabilizer of this energy in this large power industry, that is, either coal or nuclear energy. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk and Civic Platform's presidential candidate Rafał Trzaskowski, despite all the twisted declarations, continue to push the Green Deal, the European vision of an ecological paradise. Tusk and Trzaskowski are Green Deal people. They are members of the Green Deal Party, as their boss Weber of the European People's Party said, but they also bragged about it. For example, Trzaskowski was a Green Deal rapporteur in the Committee of the Regions. They are imbued with this ideology and have pushed these ideas and projects through their friends, through von der Leyen and all these Eurocrats. Money from the National Reconstruction Plan is helping to implement these projects. The National Reconstruction Plan is a gigantic loan. The world's financiers rejoice. And half of this money that went to Poland, even more, implements this stupid green ideology. With this money, mines are closed down, coal is destroyed, Polish industry is destroyed, and windmills are financed. German and Danish industry is financed. Paulina Henning-Kloska's ministry has found a new way to support the green transition. It wants to launch a portal to combat climate disinformation. A portal to fight climate disinformation is bound to be a very big cost. The point of such a portal is quite controversial, because in addition to the fact that sometimes such a portal explains fake news, but quite often, unfortunately, it also provides information that is the other way around. Caring for the environment is no doubt a noble idea, but usually no extreme changes work out well. Today's Citizens' presidential candidate Karol Nawrocki presented his version of ecological commitment. As president of the Polish state, I will guarantee the sustainable development of national forests, where there is room for all these fundamental principles. Nowadays, instead of responsible strategy, we are increasingly seeing decisions made under the dictates of extreme eco-ideology. If this ideology continues to advance, who knows, maybe the Eurocrat-inspired government of Donald Tusk will one day conclude that we should go back to candles and horseback riding.